10,000, 11,000, 12,000 runs. He's over 32, but he's got 70 international centuries, and recently was awarded the prestigious Garfield Silver's Trophy for being the cricketer of the decade. The one and only, the captain of the Indian team, the youth icon, Virat Kohli. Virat, thank you so much for your time. On behalf of everyone, let me extend a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jatin. It's great being here. Usually we do it in front of a lot more people in person, but yes, such are these times. But I'm glad that I could join the whole Herbalife family and have this conversation with a good friend like you.
Pleasure, my friends. You must have taken a back seat on behalf of the entire family, Herbalife family, your extended India family and fans around the globe. Let me wish you many congratulations for this new journey, for becoming a parent. There is someone who can boss around the captain now.
Thank you very much. It's indeed the most amazing phase of our lives. As you mentioned, I've had quite a few accomplishments professionally, but I don't think bringing in another life into this world and taking care of that life, nothing is above it. That I think is the most special thing in the whole wide world.
Indeed, very special, Virat. Just like this session today, I'm not comparing it to completely different specials, but for all our family members from Herbalife who joined here today, it's a great opportunity to try and just get into your mindset. Because for an elite athlete to be able to share some wisdom is all that we've been craving. Let's just begin with the pursuit of excellence, Virat. Having known you for 10 years, it amazes just everyone in the fraternity how every single day you sort of redefine the definition of that. For you personally, this long career, how has the definition of in pursuit of excellence changed?
Well, it's been a amazing journey so far. To be honest, I never thought that it could go on for this long and with so much passion and intensity. I think we all have that drive inside us, but it takes a bit of a time to actually realize what to do with it. And that's exactly what happened in my career. I did have the drive from day one, but I probably didn't have so much belief in my abilities at the beginning. But that drive and that perseverance brought me to a stage where I realized my abilities. If I didn't have that pursuit to become better or be the best version of myself every day, I wouldn't have reached my max potential. What I can provide for the team, I would never have realized it myself. Initial few years was all to do with getting into the side, making sure that I play as many league games as possible, keep performing whenever I get an opportunity. I knew that I wouldn't get more than 3 or 4 to make a mark. And again, that perseverance, that pursuit of making the most of the opportunity and being my best and providing for the team really helped me to grab those opportunities as well. But beyond that, I think since 2012 is when I really started to chase excellence on a daily basis. Changed everything about my fitness. That I think for me was the game changer. I've been playing cricket since I was 8 years old, practicing in an academy, so you can say started learning professionally, and even before that I've been playing cricket, but changing my nutrition, changing my fitness routines, changing my training schedules was the one factor that made me realize how good I can be and what kind of a change it can bring to the whole environment and the whole team.
And we've seen that, Virat. It's trickled down right at the youngest levels of athletes, and not just in cricket. You've been inspiring athletes across different sports, and it's really a luxury that India has to have a role model like you. But let's talk about something which is not often discussed, but it's the harsh reality. For an elite athlete, for the amount of sport that you play, failure is more of an everyday affair than success, which comes with the quantum of cricket that you play. And when you're a public figure, it's also failure in the public eye. So does it get easier or harder, to deal with failure when it's out in the open, when it's in front of the public too?
Well, it's difficult initially to process things in the right way. But I think beyond that, you need to understand that as an individual, you need to do what you know best. You need to fulfill your responsibilities, and in your heart that you're absolutely committed to play for the team every single day, every time you step onto the field, your only motive is to make sure that you provide to the team to make the team win. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Emotions run high, people criticize a lot, people celebrate your victories as well. But I don't think you can be pulled in by that. And I've realized that over a period of time, you just need to be yourself, regardless of what people say or what the opinions are or what the criticism or even the praise might be. Praise doesn't add 50 runs to the scoreboard. Your score remains what it is. The victory remains how it is. It doesn't become bigger margins just because people are praising you, and you don't become a failure overnight just because people are criticizing you. So I think I've learned to sort of separate myself from that and make sure that I only play to fulfill my responsibilities. Yes, people get inspired by what I do, but that's just a byproduct of what I do. I'm being myself on the field, and I continue to be myself. I continue to be honest to myself first. Look myself in the mirror and ask myself the question every day: am I being honest to my work? Am I being honest to my hard work? And the answer every day has been yes. And till the time it's going to be yes, I'm going to continue to put in the same kind of effort. Not worrying about what people have to say, because I have had many different opinions at the start of my career as well about me, and now they've completely changed, which I didn't strive to do. My only effort all the time was to bring in everything that I have on the field for the team. I've given my heart and soul for the team since the day I started playing, and I'll continue to do that till the time I continue to play, because that for me is the most important thing beyond all the runs and the records and the milestones. It's what you provide on the field and how grateful you are for the opportunity to play for your country.
And that's the assurance that keeps the Indian fans express chugging along. It's a great feeling to have your skippers giving it all every single time and taking the team along. But Virat, there is an age-old saying that it gets very lonely at the top. You climb these steps, of the ladder, you're right at the top. But if it is lonely at the top, how do you validate your thoughts to know that you're on the right path?
Well, it's something very interesting. Till about 2014, till the time I became captain of the test team, I was still in that zone of it's slowly at the top, because I was performing at my prime best, and I was doing really well. There were a lot of eyes on me. There was a lot of expectation from me. So I did feel the pressure even then as an individual. But I think from 2015, it became more than about myself. It became more about the larger picture, the culture of the Indian cricket team, the culture of Indian cricket in general, and what opportunity I have to provide to that on a daily basis. My intent, my motivation was always to keep Indian cricket on top, to keep Test cricket on top. And that was an obsession that I had. So, this feeling of it's lonely at the top went away quite quickly in terms of thinking about myself as an individual, because for me, from that day onwards, it's all about what can I do for the team, what can I do for the players that are going to play in the next generation. What kind of a culture, what kind of a template you want to leave behind so that Indian cricket stays on top. And when your focus is solely on that on a daily basis, you go beyond yourself. You start thinking of so much more and so many more people. And that, I think, is the biggest blessing for anyone. That's what leadership means to me. And when I got the opportunity to do that, all these notions of it's lonely at the top went out of the picture. Yes, life as it is now, the reality of our lives as it is now, it's difficult. You can't do the normal stuff that you would love to do. That comes with part of the job, and you have to accept that as an individual. You know that after a few years, when you're done playing, that things probably will slowly get back to normal, and other people come in and they start being a part of this whole process, and they go through the same phase that I'm going through right now. So it's a natural progression, but beyond that, I've never really thought of being too low or being beaten down just because I've been at the top of my game. It's all been about the team and what can I provide for the general culture of Indian cricket.
Now the next question is something that I've always enjoyed asking leaders, led teams, because there comes a point when you're appointed the captain, you have members in the team that are either going to be more experienced than you are or are going to be older than who you are, and it happens across sports. And it's lovely how the baton of the Indian team is passed after one captain to another fantastic player and leader. But what's the toughest part when you're leading a side where you might have more experience or older players, what's the toughest part to make sure that you're doing it the right way?
Well, the toughest bit is to just be honest to the job. I've been very lucky that I had a captain who was so understanding and who understood transition so beautifully, and the amount of mutual respect we both had and still continue to have, along with the friendship that we have, really helped us, go through this transition very smoothly, because both of us operated on only one principle, which was honesty. Playing for the team all the time, no problem in intent, no second thoughts about anything. Me and him always were on the same page when it came to the team. What does the team want us to do? We're going to do that, and that's why there were no issues ever. I think staying honest and totally committed to the job that you have and what the job requires you to do can be the most difficult thing if you have individuals who sort of aren't in the right headspace to understand the decisions that you make. But that's the challenge that comes with the job, and I've always been very honest with what I wanted to do as a captain, what the team required at that particular time, and I've followed those decisions and my instinct to the hilt, regardless of what it might be perceived like, and that I probably think is the toughest part of the job. But in terms of transition, it was amazingly smooth because of MS and me being good friends and having a great understanding and just carrying on doing the job for the team, even through that transition phase.
Now that we're talking about complete honesty, it's almost like a heart-to-heart, and you're opening up beautifully. How do you yourself, you want to mention what's important is what the team thinks, when you assess a game, you assess a performance, how do you hold yourself and the team accountable and responsible?
Well, it's not only game day that you suddenly stand up and say, we have to be accountable and responsible for what we do. I think it's the work that happens behind the scenes. So if on a daily basis you take care of the nutrition that's been suggested to you by the trainer and people who are in charge of it, the trainer gives you a program, you come to practice, whether you're required to catch 100 balls, and if you do 90, then you're probably not being committed or on that particular day true to your responsibility for the team. So these small things, I think the reason for our success now that we see so regularly is the work behind the scenes. Everyone commits to what needs to be done at practice, in training sessions, whether it's nutrition, whether it's getting the right amount of rest, whether it's going to practice and doing precise practice and working on team plans. Everyone has committed to that and everyone has done that. My style of captaincy, you can say, or leadership in general, is to lead by example. I would go to the practice sessions and I would want to do the things that the coaches require from us, or me as a captain, what I think the team should be doing on the field. I would go there and execute it first, and I would be a part of the action, and I would probably be the first one or among the first few to go out there and finish the job. And that, I think, brings in a lot more enjoyment. It brings in a lot more interaction with the boys as well. And that's something that I've thoroughly enjoyed. And everyone's taken that on board beautifully. The whole team has bought into that idea, has bought into that concept that our efforts at practice, our fitness levels, our mental setup, I think, is a byproduct of your fitness levels. If your body is strong enough, you can think well. If your body is not strong enough, you won't be able to think well, you won't be able to persevere, you won't be able to be in the contest for long periods of time because your body is breaking down. I think when everyone understood the importance of that, we really became that team that never gives up, that team that will strive and fight for everything. And that eventually gives you the most amount of satisfaction that, we've played to win and we are in the fight all the time. And now every other team in the world knows that. So as a captain, as a leader, I couldn't be happier knowing that, everyone's really bought into the idea and the results of which we see every day. And it's so much more enjoyable to play in that space where every game you're going into, you can win. That's the most beautiful feeling.
And it's just incredible to see in Australia that feelings trickle down to even the bench, and that's just the performance they were. Like you said, the world knows it, every single team knows it, and there couldn't have been a bigger example that we've just seen in recent times. So would you say, Virat, that in the journey of growth, it's actually these small things that make a big, or rather the biggest difference?
They do. Look, as I said, some time ago you spoke of people's perception and what they look at things or how they look at things and what they perceive and how they receive it. It's very different from the reality that we go through within the team. It's very different from the team room environment. It's very different from what happens in the change room. Drastically different. Because people eventually see the results on field. As I said, we are living that reality on a daily basis. So when the camera is not on us, what do we do? How we speak? How we communicate? What are the interactions between the team? What is my conversation with the boys? Similarly, things would have done that with the team as well in Australia when I came back. These are the things which go unnoticed, and people eventually, just react to the results, which is fair because they don't see the work behind the scenes. But we understand the work that goes on behind the scenes. Even a smallest conversation at a casual coffee shop somewhere back in the day when we could go around, or even now when you can just sit down and have a cup of coffee. That 5-minute conversation can change the whole psyche of that individual for the rest of the tour. Those things go unnoticed, and those things will never be realized and understood how important they are in the longer scheme of things, in the larger scheme of things, for longevity, for consistency, to keep the culture of this team and the standard to this level for years to come. That small contribution at different stages is what makes all the difference. At practice, if someone's doing something and you make them feel very confident about it, they probably go out there and execute in the game the next day. Youngsters coming into the team, our conversation with them always, I would always tell the youngsters, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. I might have played 80 tests, but if you all have a better mental setup on the day than me, you will outperform me. So don't go by the 80 tests that I've played and beat yourself down and think, oh, he's played 80 tests. If he can't score run, how can I? That's irrelevant. These are the kind of things that go unnoticed, and these are the kind of things which are very organic because everyone's working towards the benefit of the team. And these small things is what makes all the difference in the longer run. And eventually you have to realize that you have to keep doing the work, as I said, keep doing your responsibility, the reactions, the analysis, all those things are a byproduct of all these things that we do, and that's why we don't really get affected or be bothered by what happens afterwards, after a result, because we understand the kind of work that goes behind the scenes to make this happen.
Sure, there are a lot of leaders and managers in the gathering that we have today, more than 30,000 people, and there's a great takeaway in that. Captains build a great team, but it's leaders that build great cultures, and that's the everlasting legacy we're looking forward to. That's what someone like Virat has done so effectively. But we're not going to come about fitness. I know that you mentioned at the top, and we've actually seen that obsession, right, Virat, the transformation when it started. But now, like you said, you lead by example. We know the emphasis that you put on fitness, on diet, on nutrition, but as a leader, how does it also percolate through to the others? Are they always just complimenting and saying, let me just check what is Virat eating now? Or now it's just become a standard practice and a culture that everyone wants to be fit, everyone wants to be healthy, and it's now just second nature.
Well, I think it's become second nature now. I think initially it took a bit of a time for everyone to understand the importance of it. For everyone to buy into it.
Did it take time for you as well, Virat, when you were making this transformation?
Of course, I took about 6 to 8 months of persisting every day. But I was solely driven to realize my max potential so that I can provide the best version of myself to the team. Because what's interesting to understand is what hurt me was in 2012 I felt like we were far behind the other teams in the world in terms of being there with our fitness levels and our concentration levels, and that hurt me more than anything. It wasn't to do with myself as an individual. It was about I want to realize my max potential so that I can understand what difference it makes on the field if I become the fittest version of myself. And when I started realizing the changes that it brought in my game, that's when I started to, really have these conversations openly about this is the path we need to go to. This is what's going to prop up the whole team to the top of the world cricket once again, especially in Test cricket, because it was a perseverance of 5 days. And that's what drove me every day. Our team has to be the top team in the world. There is no doubt about it, because if you look at the skill set, we were not far off behind anyone. We were probably better than most of the teams in the world, but it was just the fitness that was pushing us back. And then it became an obsession, as I said. But it took a bit of time for me as well. But look, I also waited for results, right? I also waited to see what happens, and so did the others. Everyone waited for the results to come, and then they started seeing, wow, this is something amazing. Bowlers started bowling at 140 plus, and then suddenly teams are getting all out. Every game we're getting 20 wickets, and people are like, hold on, this is getting more interesting. If we can get the number of runs that we want to, we're winning more test matches than we could think of, or what we believed we could. And when the changes started happening, then it became the culture of the team right now. And as you said, if it's trickling down to the bottom of the table, which is the grassroots levels, going into state cricket, going into first class cricket, then you have those kind of players coming up now, who are match ready, who are fit, who are feisty, who are intense, who want to win at any cost and will do the job for the team, won't get tired, won't throw in the towel, and that's what you need to see at all times. So yeah, it took a bit of time initially, but now if you ask anyone, they want to be the fittest version of themselves. If you look at a Saini, even I would like to mention Mohammad Siraj, who really, I haven't seen him work as hard as he has from the start of the IPL, when we had the camp, to now the phase he's going through. This is the hardest he's worked in his life. And I saw the difference that it made in the IPL. He was a totally different bowler, very different personality. Confidence levels were sky high. He continued that training in Australia, got opportunities, and what he's done today and what he's going through, he thoroughly deserves it because of the kind of work he's put in. You look at a Saini who takes his own shakers, and he's making the most nutritional shakes all around, and probably eats healthier than anyone. He's ripped as hell. Everyone's getting fitter, everyone's getting stronger, and the other teams know it now. They can't take us for granted at any stage, regardless of who's playing on the field.
They're gone the days of those Schwarzenegger posters in gymnasiums. It is now very on point, and every day everyone's moving up. In fact, even at home, everyone's not there. You're not going to get that fitness in the team fitness. But that's great, because that's lifestyle change, and that's exactly always pick it up. It's not just being the captain, it's being a leader. And then you're looking at greater consequences and more people that you can need to inspire. But who is it that inspires you, Virat? I mean, your role models, and what aspect of their lives is something that inspires you the most?
Well, I've been greatly inspired by Cristiano Ronaldo when it comes to the physical fitness, even the mental setup. I mean, I've in cricket, my idol has been Sachin Tendulkar. Everyone knows that. I love watching Roger Federer play just because of what he can do on the court. But in terms of real inspiration and fighting spirit and fighting against all odds every day, Ronaldo has to be the one guy for me who sets the benchmark for all the athletes in the world, because he's the most famous athlete in the world, hands down. And to do it day in, day out, at the age that he's doing it at, with the kind of perseverance, the mental toughness, against the criticism, against the odds, continues to be the fittest version of himself. I understand how much it takes on a daily basis to be that version of yourself. And that's why I have so much respect and so much regard for what he does every day, because it's not easy when no one's watching to have the right amount of food on your plate and have the right amount of nutrition on your plate. It's very easy to fool people and eat what you want and then go out there and say, I'm doing what I need to do. But it's very difficult to stay honest to what you really want to do. And it shows in what he does. He does it to be the best version of himself and to be the best. And it's the behind the scenes work, as I said. The amount of work that he would be putting in on a daily basis, it's crazy. people would never realize at his age, especially the kind of thing that he would be doing right now, maybe 2 or 3 times the effort he would have put in when he was in his 20s or even late 20s. So that takes serious level of commitment, and that's something that I relate to and I really, really admire and respect a lot. So yeah, he inspires me every day.
There you go. Another takeaway, the only person you're really answerable to is yourself. When you look at yourself in the mirror, that's where the answer comes from. But an answer that we've been waiting to hear from you, Virat. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind in Indian cricket?
Well, the legacy, I think I've always had this mindset from day one. If you can leave the team in a better place than when you came in, you have done your job well, and that is something that I would like to see at the end of my career. If the time that I would have finished my career and the time that I played, if it has brought about a cultural change and a mental shift in people, that's something that I would definitely look back and look very proudly at, because it's easily you can go through a whole career and just do what you need to do in terms of skill and just play the game of cricket and be like, yeah, I'm good at it and I'm going to play, I'm going to perform. I love scoring runs. I love winning games, but I think it's the longevity that you leave behind, and if this fitness culture can sustain for years to come, and Indian cricket stays where it is today, I'd be so proud, and I'd be very, very happy with all the effort that I would have given for the team for all the years that I would have played when I finish, because I understand how much it takes. I understand on a daily basis the thought process and constant thinking about the team, what the team should be doing, what the team needs to do for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, understanding youngsters, understanding transition, understanding your own players. It takes a lot out of you. The grain doesn't happen overnight. It's a constant process of many seasons, many matches, many tours, many ups and downs, many failures, success as well. But yeah, if this fitness culture can sustain Indian cricket at the top for years to come, I would have done my job.
We often discuss this in commentary. The grain got nothing to do with fitness. It's got to do with that captaincy hat that you wear. It comes very quickly. Doesn't matter what age you're at. But Virat, you've been a Herbalife ambassador for a very long time. What are the values of the brand that sort of personally resonate with you?
Well, the association was, the timing couldn't have been organic. It was beautifully coincided with the time that I started, really getting into the fitness space and really realizing how fit and how much potential I have as an individual in terms of changing my nutrition and just changing my lifestyle in general. So Herbalife, I looked at Herbalife as an association which represents a lifestyle. All the people that are associated with Herbalife, if you look at their journeys, it's been a lifestyle change. It's not just using the product for a bit and getting the results and moving on. It's people stay with the brand. It becomes a lifestyle choice, and that to me is very special because it's a commitment. And so has been this association, and that's why I continue to value it. The perks of it being that Cristiano is also sponsored by Herbalife, and I was pretty excited about that also. But apart from that, I think it represents the right values, and that's why I continue to be associated with the brand, because I want people to get better, realize their potentials, and do the hard thing and eat right. It's not easy. It's not easy to follow a good lifestyle. It's not easy to follow good nutrition. Yes, you have all the products in front of you, but to have a proper routine, a proper cycle, what to take when, what quantities to take it in, see the results, keep persevering, fight against all your desires, all your taste buds fluctuating every now and then. It takes an effort, and I think Herbalife urges and pushes people into that direction to realize their maximum potential, and people have just not gone back, and that's why this association for me continues to be special.
And on that special note, it's not often that about 30,000 fans and admirers get a chance to have you on their screens. Do you have a parting message for the Herbalife family?
As I said before, it's times are different, so we are meeting like this, but I just want to say that it's always special interacting with all of you, whether it's in person or in such a format. And I would just extend what I spoke to Jatin about just now, is that continue to do what's right, continue to make the effort on a daily basis, get better, be the best version of yourselves, realize your max potential, and just live a healthier life like you have been with Herbalife. And I wish you guys all the best, and we'll continue to have these conversations for a very long time to come. God bless you all.
Virat, thank you so much once again on behalf of the entire Herbalife family, all your fans, your admirers. Continue to inspire us. Wishing you all the very best for the future endeavors, the series that's around the corner.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Jatin. Cheers.